some reports in the media around this, had some conversations with your team about this. Have student test scores decreased in the spring semester? Have you seen a downgrade in student performance in the spring semester? Can you kind of speak to the board about some of the things that we might have seen out there in relation to y'all's previous board meeting?
Sure, and I'll just start, and Sean will collaborate with me on this. I'll just start by saying that one of the things that I appreciate about our Board of Education in Tulsa Public Schools is that we have adopted what's called a student-focused governance model, student outcome-focused governance model, which basically lends itself to us reporting on a consistent basis how our students are progressing on the assessments that we use. The assessment specifically that we report on is the MAP assessment. And so in those conversations, we look at all grade levels. We specifically are measuring very specific grade levels on whether or not there's growth and whether or not we are meeting the mark. And I'll just say that it's a very robust conversation. And I think that unfortunately with the information that was shared, we didn't get an opportunity to see in that particular level of information the full robust set of conversation that took place, which actually spoke to progress that our students have made. But we don't make excuses when we do see some dips. We talk about some dips. And what I specifically called out in that particular presentation at that board meeting is that, our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders did struggle a little bit with how they actually showed performance on that very last assessment. And I gave some rationale as to what we believe could have been the reason that we didn't see the growth that we wanted to see from our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. However, across the board, we are seeing progress with our students on their literacy growth. I'll specifically call out our 3rd graders, and we know that 3rd grade is a very important grade for us to see some foundational literacy. We've seen a set of growth, and Sean, you can talk a little bit more about the RIT as well between our winter and our spring. But we were really proud of our RSA, Reading Sufficiency Act data that showed that our students are showing progress in the areas of 3rd grade, as well as our MAP data with 3rd graders. I will also say that even though we do not report on our 9th and 10th grade progress, we saw tremendous progress as well on our students' performance in 9th and 10th grade. And we know that those are foundational grades for high school performance as well as high school completion. And so absolutely, we are seeing gains and seeing growth. We are pretty hard on ourselves in that we want to see it for every single student, every single grade level. And so we do report on that information that's not always as favorable as we would like to see. And we do not make excuses, we just make a plan. Sean, if you could come up and just talk a little bit more about that MAP RIT, that would be great.
Definitely, thank you. Yeah, so student achievement on MAP increased from winter to spring. The RIT scores Dr. Johnson's mentioning, that's the unit of measurement for MAP, and we saw improvement from winter to spring. I think what she also references, we weren't happy with what we saw in 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, or in 8th grade. Yeah, our students learned still. We saw improvement, so I want to make sure that's known. And you've seen what's in front of us with a lot of these data points. We're not satisfied, so there's more to do. But no, very clearly, we saw improvement on MAP from winter to spring. The 3rd grade was a very, that was a very, very important thing that we saw in the data also, because 3rd grade is a critical milestone for kids. We saw lots of improvement in 3rd grade. What that translated to is the state's RSA, Reading Sufficiency Act requirements. Saw a lot of progress on kids meeting that benchmark in 3rd grade compared to last year, and that was the result of intentional efforts. But I think headline is, yes, students are growing, and we know we've got to keep moving, right? We've got a lot of progress in front of us, but wanted to make sure we answered that question directly.